Yeah, one's June 17th.
Yes. Look at the fantastic art we have.
I know, I'm so excited.
Everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started today. You're at the First Friday Art Walk, in case you didn't know. If you didn't know, we'd be glad to have you. So what a great day for an art walk, don't you agree?
Yes.
Perfect day to be out. So art walks happen rain or shine year-round. How many first-timers do we have here tonight? Oh, excellent. Welcome, welcome. So you're welcome to follow along the guided tour with us, and the cool part about that is you get to hear from the featured artists. Or you can explore the various galleries and downtown arts venues on your own. I think we have some guides over here by the door, and then Mariana has some guides over here. That tells you everything that's going on tonight, so you'll definitely want to pick up one of those. So something cool about this art walk tonight is it's a part of the Jane's Jacobs Walk series. So there's a series of events happening around Eugene this weekend, and they're all to celebrate the life of Jane Jacobs. And she was an advocate for citizen participation in urban planning and for creating connected communities that result in healthy, walkable neighborhoods. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, visit janejacobswalks.org to learn more about the other walks in our community. So we couldn't do the art walks without our sponsors, and we have two of them here tonight that we want to thank. The first is the Eugene Symphony Guild. Can we give them a round of applause? So we have several guild members today that are here. Can you guys raise your arms, show them where you're at? And several of them have some information about the Guild and their upcoming fundraiser, Music in the Garden, on June 10th. And this is an awesome self-guided garden tour of some private homes that you wouldn't be able to see their gardens otherwise. And they all have music at them. So, and you know the symphony's involved, so it's going to be good, right? So yeah, check out the Guild members. They have some information if you're interested in that. And they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. So let's give them a round of applause again. We also want to thank our media sponsor, and we have some Eugene magazines here. So go check her out if you want to learn more about Eugene Magazine, or it looks like she might give you a magazine. So thank you, Eugene Magazine. So now, yes. Eric, do you have any Jane's Walk stuff? Yeah, okay. I mentioned Jane's Walk. She has more brochures if you would like them. More walks around this weekend. So now I'm going to introduce our host that will lead you around to 5 guided tour stops this evening. Her name is Ada Weeks. She is Eugene Symphony Guild's 2018 Education and Social Vice President, and she is also a fashion design educator. And she spent a lot of time traveling and learning about music in other areas, and she's mastered silk ribbon embroidery and English smocking and quilting. So I'm going to hand it off to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. You're very gracious. I haven't mastered quilting, but I'm working on it. I think a lot of people here in Oregon have done that. We welcome you all tonight, and on behalf of the Eugene Symphony Guild, we're so delighted that you're here. And the Vistra Gallery is just a stunning place to absorb this beautiful art. We have 2 featured artists here tonight, and we'll start with the first one, Diane. Diane Lewis, come on up, Diane, who happens to own Vistra, right?
Well, me and 2 other people, my husband and my son.
Okay. And we're all dying to know, what does Vistra mean?
Nothing.
It's a made-up, one of those artsy names.
It is a made-up name. We were playing with 2 words, vision and vista. It just emerged.
So that means you would be a good challenger for Scrabble sometime soon?
No, wrong person in the family.
Okay, well, if you've been wandering around admiring the beautiful art, you probably have seen these stunning abstracts that all have little touches of foil in them, and they're just so exciting. And make sure, especially ladies, you don't miss Diane's beautiful jewelry displays in the several cases around here. And gentlemen, Mother's Day is coming up. Whether you have a mother or a wife, girlfriend, we can drop a few hints for you. But then on the back side of the wall where we're standing, Diane's still life art is on display, and it is stunning and completely different. So exploring the other side, that's what this is all about, huh?
Yeah.
All right, tell us about it.
Exploring the other side was just getting completely away from the more traditional still life and landscape type venue to something that I've been wanting to do for probably 10 years. It's been just kind of conjuring up in me, and yeah, so I just started working on it, and about probably a year or two ago, and it just kind of kept evolving. Really wanted to do more of a collage type thing. I've tried some things with paper into it, some really beautiful art papers that had sort of a gold leafing running through it. So I thought, okay, well, let's play with some gold leafing. So I started putting different colored leaf into the paintings as well. And this is what I've gotten so far. So I'm having a great time with it. And yeah.
Tell us about the title of this one, A World of Her Own.
That probably stemmed from my daughter, who just had a bit of an issue and was in the hospital for a week, and I was working on that, and it just kind of came to me one night when I was awake late. Sorry.
Some of our most creative work is done in the wee hours, right? Oh, thank you. And still life, so the still life came before the abstract, yes?
Yes.
Okay, and has that been a fun evolution? Will you go back to still lifes?
Sometime.
We hope.
Maybe. Someday, maybe.
Because we might need an English teapot in a still life.
I can maybe work that out.
Okay, thank you. And can we meet Lisa? Lisa Lavoni? Lavoni, I'm sorry. We debated on the drive over how to... Okay. Anyway, Lisa's work is around the corner. These gorgeous floral collections, happy, cheerful, just the thing you need on your wall to wake up at breakfast and with your cup of coffee or tea, and they're stunning, stunning. So tell us about your inspiration and how you came to be this, could we say flower queen?
I guess I'm a flower queen. Okay, I try not to like bite it. I think one of my...
She said, eat the mic.
I think one of my biggest passions are flowers, and my husband will tease me that I'll say that's my favorite flower, but he'll say it depends on whichever one I happen to be looking at the time. I've worked on getting away from it a little bit. I still really love to paint flowers, but I also paint fruit and vegetables. I love how colorful the flowers are, and I don't know, there's always something about them that it's so fresh and inspiring.
Well, living here in Oregon, it's certainly the land of flowers, isn't it? So everything is just breaking open, and it's glorious. Every day is like a new surprise. So is that part of your inspiration as well?
I think so. I've only been here a little over 2 years, and our neighborhood told us the first year that I would be really surprised in the spring how things grow, and it's pretty shocking. So it's
not to compare, but the flowers in Napa versus the flowers in Oregon, Lane County?
No, we have beautiful flowers there, but they don't grow like they do here. And I have things in the garden now that I could not get to grow in Napa, no matter what I did. And you just put them in the ground and make sure that they get water, and I don't have to worry about them anymore. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Thank you so much, Lisa. We have Mariana with some drawings for 2 tickets for Music in the Gardens, the Eugene Symphony Guild upcoming event, June 10th. And Mariana, what can you tell us about this?
I mean, you just sign up with me, so I'll be walking around. So
Who hasn't signed up yet and would like to win 2 free tickets? Yay! Okay, keep your hands up. She'll come around.
yeah, I'm just gonna make Round.
Yeah.
Quickly, okay, and then we'll have our first drawing at the next stop? Yes? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, do any of you have questions for our lovely artists?
I do. Yes. Are we using copper? Is that the copper paint you're using?
The foil?
Yes.
Yes, it is copper. So I've used copper, gold, and silver on different ones.
Any other questions? Okay, well, please enjoy looking around, and if they want to purchase something, they need to come and see you? Yes?
Some of the staff.
Okay, staff is over in that corner, huh? Yes, staff.
I'll sell you something.
Okay. Jessica, yes? Okay, we have 10 minutes till we need to leave and go to the Lincoln Gallery, so to make the most of your time here. There are beautiful maps in the corner. Go check out the art room, and the framing gallery as well is just stunning. So thank you so much.
It's my wife.
And they are really prepared.
Just generally in a conversation, in a joint.
Yeah. Memories of that, memories of winter of last year.
Right now, back to the elevator. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I don't know if we do that. That way you're not as independent. Well,
You know, one of the worst things, I can't put on her socks. That's there's a great deal of sock. Sock roll.
Did you vote yet? I actually voted last week. Oh, okay.
Out of 66 pieces, the small pieces are upstairs, so don't miss those. And we had 141 artists enter this. And the judge had 328 pieces to look through to decide the final 66. So that was not an easy task. Our judge was Randy Nieder, and he's from Texas, and he is ranked 46 in the world for watercolor. He knows his business. And the final award is the People's Choice Award. That is your choice. You get to choose the final winner. And that'll be during the month of May. we are going to vote for your favorite in the show. So make sure that you take a ballot, make your choices, and vote. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
We'll be here for about 15 minutes. Enjoy all the work and ask what questions. Does anybody have questions?
Our next stop is City Hall Gallery.
Our next stop is City Hall Gallery. Thank you.
And you have to say it with that cadence too. Right.
Yeah.
But really,
Something happened here. You got your camera? Oh, my clothes
Welcome. We have some Girl Scouts here. That's pretty awesome. What do you guys think about that? Kids loving art? So how many people is this your first Friday Art Walk? Can I see a show of hands? Excellent. We love newbies. So you can either follow along the guided tour tonight and you'll hear from all of the featured artists, or you're welcome to explore the Art Walk venues on your own. Make sure you get an Art Walk guide because it will tell you everything that's happening tonight. And Kaya over here, right here, behind this nice block for some of you, has Art Walk guide, so be sure to pick one up. So the reason we can put on the Art Walk for free is because we have some really amazing sponsors. And this month's sponsor is Green Hill Humane Society. So Sasha and her special friend are going to talk to us real quick.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you all for coming out this evening. You know, this community is so strong as a team, and together as part of Green Hill Humane Society and Little Caesar here, we're very proud to work with Lane Arts Council. We are here sponsoring the Art Walk this month because we so greatly depend on and are grateful for the artists in the community and those of you that love art in the community. We have a gala coming up on November 10th called Art for Animals, and it's an event not to be missed, including lots of unique, wonderful artwork from both emerging and established artists, Mr. Kanaga included. And yeah, just thank you so much for this opportunity, Jessica and Lane Arts Council. And if you'd like more information about Caesar, who is adoptable, or Art for Animals, our gala event, please visit green-hill.org. Thank you.
We'd also like to thank our media sponsor, Eugene Magazine. So can we get some love for Green Hill and Eugene Magazine? or you can just come if you want. And now I would like to recognize our host for the Art Walk. She's going to be interviewing all of the lovely artists you're going to meet. She is the newly reigning slug queen, Santa Frida Babusita. And in her regular life, you may know her as Mija Andrade from Organ Supported Living Program. She is the development coordinator. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here she is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm very honored to be leading the Art Walk tonight. It's one of my most favorite things to do. My full name actually is Santa Frida Elisa Refugio Babusita, and I am the patron slug of arts and culture. So this is this is what it's all about. Lane Arts Council is a leader in arts and culture in our community, and so I'm so excited to be here and participating in this and promoting the work that they're doing as well. And featuring our wonderful artists and learning more about them and their work. And so I want to introduce Robert Kanega. And this is his show that we are experiencing right now. And we want to hear more from you, Robert, about this exhibit and this particular body of work. Tell us more.
Okay. Well, long story long. When I was president of Oregon Mozart Players, I went around the state and got one bottle of wine from every winery in Oregon for 3 years.
And then he drank them all.
And I drank them all. Actually, my wife bought most of them. And in that process, I got to meet an amazing array of winemakers and wine growers and vineyard masters and just extraordinary people that are definitely of the earth. And they understand what it takes to make wine and why it is so beautiful here in Oregon. And I was painting kind of landscapey stuff. I wasn't really locked in on something, and then I had some paintings in the back of my car, and I was taking up to Iris Vineyard. And Danuta Pfeiffer came out and was in the parking lot with me talking, and she looked in the back of my car and said, "Now, what's this?" And I said, "Well, these are going up to Pfeiffer, or going up to Iris." And she said, "Where's ours?" And I said, "Okay." And so I walked around the vineyard that day, about an hour, and I went home and I painted them a painting and put it up in the tasting room. And Robin sat down and had a tear in his eye, and he said, "That's my property." And I said, "Okay, this is good." And so a couple of years later, I kept doing this process, exploring the earth, the types of soil, the land, the water, everything that takes to make wine. And a couple of years later, I had a show last year at the state capitol, a 3-month show at the state capitol, the only show they've ever done at the state capitol, a one-person show. And so I went up to Pfeiffer to get my painting, you know, and take it up there. And Robin and Danuta said, "No, no, no, it's for sale." And I said, "Well, make me a deal." And so a case of Blue Dot and a case of Merlot, and it was theirs. And so I started trading wine for art, and I've done quite well. Wineries are quick to say, "Oh, we want that one, here's some wine." And so I have Avalon and Pfeiffer and Brigadoon and you name it. It's been fun. But all of these paintings basically were of that ilk and mutations off of it. There's one over here that was actually the first oil and wax painting I ever did, which was for I had a one-man show at the Coos Art Museum in 14. And that was for that show. And if you ever want a wake-up call, volunteer to jury a show and then forget about it. And then have a year before the show, have them call up and say, "Do you want to come look at the space that your one-person show is going to be in?"
Oh, no.
And so I drove over, and after my heart attack had stopped, I went home and painted like a madman for a year. So it was a good experience. And this was kind of, putting this together, I was kind of worried if I'd have enough work for a show. And then I started going around to all the wineries and all the museums and places that I have work and gathering it up, and I got enough. So this piece right here, if any of you know Avicella Winery down by Roseburg, well, Earl Jones and I were in Vietnam at the same time, and we discovered that through Facebook and started talking. And Greg Jones, his son, is a soil biologist and in the wine department at Southern Oregon University, then moved up to Linfield and took over the wine studies department. And he called me up and said, we need a painting. And so they ended up with this one. And that's going to be in the wine studies department. And thankfully for me, it's right across the street from where they have the International Pinot Noir celebration every year. So I bet you somebody's going to see it. So, and anyway, if anybody has any questions, let me know. And just as a note, this little chair over here, that chair was my first drawing when I came back to school at 40. I had stopped doing art at 15. I started doing everything else. I had a chance to go to Paris for the summer through Oregon State, talented and gifted program that they did when I was a kid, a freshman in high school. And my mother was ecstatic, and my dad said, "Art for fags, you're gonna work." So I stopped doing art at 15 and started playing rock and roll and raising hell and growing my hair out and doing all the stuff you're supposed to do when you're that age. And I just kind of abandoned art. And I did a few sketches in Europe, but I never really got into it. I came back from Micronesia in the anthropology department and just wasn't satisfied with my drawing skills, so I went to sign up for a drawing class, and they said, "Well, this is an advanced drawing class and you can't take it, you're not an art student." And I said, "Who's in charge?" So Ken O'Connell was in charge, thank God, and Ken said, "Sign him up." And so that was my very first drawing. And Margaret Prentice said, "Why are you taking anthropology?" So that was the start of my new 28-year career now in art. Anyway, any questions? Any answers?
I have a question.
Okay.
Talk a little bit about the wax, your use of wax and paint,
and
which paintings might.
Well, they're all wax and oil, and I've discovered that some might notice that my colors are a little more brilliant than a lot of the colors you see, and the reason that is the refractive quality of the materials that I use and the density of the pigments that I use. I make my own paints sometimes, and I use very highly dense pigmented paints. And so when you add those mediums together, it brightens and brings the key of the color up. And so you get these extraordinary reds and extraordinary blues that you just don't get otherwise. I'm doing a demonstration at 1 o'clock tomorrow in there, and I'm going to be mixing up and starting a new canvas in there, and I have no idea what direction I'm going to take, but we'll know by the end of the day. So, anything else?
Robert?
Yes.
Can you divulge what kind of pigments and wax you use?
Oh, I use Graham paints that are made here in Oregon, mostly. I was telling someone earlier, I got very lucky. How many of you knew Hattie Mae Nixon? Know Hattie Mae Nixon? Docent at the university for 100 years. And her husband was Max Nixon, who was the head of the jewelry department at the university. And together, they had collected 9 warehouses of material over the years. You name it, they had it. And so I was lucky enough to be involved with helping sort through that, finding paintings by people like James Ivory, and that he'd bought when the students were starving, And so at the end of it all, the guy said, "Well, do you want Max's paints?" And I said, "Sure." So they brought me 2 boxes of paints from the 1950s and 60s, and when they actually put pigments in the paint. And so I've had a lot of fun with that. A lot of these colors come directly out of that, including the last 3 existing tubes of manganese blue, which I keep in a safe in my studio. I use, I've got a friend who moved back from Paris whose job for years was making paint for artists. And I've got his whole collection of pigments and his mall and everything that he had. He developed cancer probably from the pigments that he was using. And he moved back to America, he lived here in town, and he's passed away since. But he said, well, make me a deal. And I said, well, tell me. And he says, $70. So I bought 2 boxes of raw pigments and a glass mall and on all the other accoutrements for $70. I always felt guilty, but he was happy. So I do that a lot. I mix a lot of interesting colors. So some of it you will not see anywhere else. So anything else?
And what kind of wax?
I use Dorland's wax. I started out using Trimar, which when I was at the arts buyer at the University of Oregon bookstore, I discovered this company back east that a lot of the prominent painters used, and they mixed custom materials for people. And we got into a conversation, and I used to sell their wax medium, which was beeswax with a tiny bit of petroleum wax and real turpentine, not gum turpentine, but the real turpentine. And they would make this and send it out, and now they can't ship it. So because it's volatile. So I started having to settle for Dorland's, but I've learned to add some stuff to it to make it, as brilliant as the other stuff was. So, but I'll be showing some of that stuff tomorrow.
So if you'd like to ask Robert any other questions, he'll be around here.
I'm wondering.
And our next stop, we'll leave in 5 minutes. Our next stop is going to be Raven Frameworks, which is just on the next block at 325 West 4th Avenue.
And there are some cards over here on the table for people. There are some little cards that I had made for the state capitol show that are over here on the table. If people want to come and wander around and look stuff, feel free. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. See you at the next stop.
How you doing?
I'm George.
Yes, we met before.
Yep. I do the art studio.
Yeah.
I did a walk.
Somebody asked me what I listen to in my studio, and I said everything. You can tell from my paintings. Here's my card.
You get on the microphone and remind people to sign up.
Hey!
Before you leave, don't forget to sign up for the free tickets to Teatro Malago. We will draw before we leave this area. So you might be a winner in like 2 minutes.
They haven't fried in the sun by now. Before I hand it over to Leora Sponko, I would like to make a brief mention about the Lane Arts Council First Friday Art Walk. There's a lot of work going into building a more beautiful, vibrant, healthier downtown. And the one thing that's stayed consistent for over 20 years is the First Friday Art Walk, thanks to the diligence of the Lane Arts Council.
Ladies, if you
yes,
could
please stop and give Lane Arts Council.
Thank you, Isaac. Hi, everyone. I'm Leora Sponko, the Executive Director of Lane Arts Council. Welcome to First Friday Art Walk, Mural Tour, and huge fun concert. What a night. This is awesome. You know, as Isaac said, we've been coordinating the Art Walk for many years. We also do arts education in schools and support artists, and we're really here to support the community, engage the community in the arts. And I know a lot of you are dedicated art workers, you're dedicated art enthusiasts. We really appreciate your support of the arts and all that we're trying to do collaboratively. It's been a heck of a week. I don't know, did some of you guys go to the parade and Sunday Streets last weekend? What a blast! And then we had these incredible muralists here all week. We have this event. Tomorrow night's the Whitaker Block Party. I'm telling you, this town is becoming this incredible arts and culture destination, and it's thanks to the City of Eugene, it's thanks to our partners, it's thanks to people like you. You really love the arts, you care about the arts, you contribute to community events, and we so appreciate you. So give it up, Eugene, for supporting the arts. You know, and the city has done an incredible job bringing these international muralists. So instead of our regular art walk tour, as you may know, we are going to be doing a mural tour. So if you don't have a guide, Jessica and Lewis are around. They'll give you an art walk guide, and inside there's an insert of all the murals that we'll be seeing, and we'll be interviewing these international muralists. They're incredible artists, they're incredible people. You're going to want to hear from them. So follow us along on the tour, and you can also come back here and enjoy the concert. We just want you to have an awesome, awesome night. And all this is really only possible because the City of Eugene so values the arts. So help me thank the City of Eugene and Huge Fun and the 20 by 21 Mural Project for making this happen. Additional sponsors, Eugene Magazine, the UO Duck Store, and World Pies. Please help me thank those incredible sponsors. All right. So as you know, every art walk we have a special host, and this host is very knowledgeable. He's actually one of the founders of the 20 by 21 Mural Project, helped connecting us to these international artists. So he's going to lead us on this mural tour, and he's an incredible local community member that has contributed so much to this project.
And how many of you seen little grates with extra little hands coming out of them somewhere around town in the last week? Yeah. Well, I'm pleased that this is the culmination of a year and a couple of months that started last March with a group of 6 people who sat around a table in one of the bars downtown with an idea. And the idea was, in 2021, we're inviting the world to come to Eugene for the World Track Championships. And we wanted the world to come here and see world-class street artists from all over the world on our walls, to build an outdoor art gallery throughout the city that we're going to live in for the next 5 years and maybe beyond, because we think this is something that once it starts, it's going to keep on rolling. And I am so pleased that for this first festival, we have had a group of 7 artists who are among the world's very best. When we started this project, we said, invite the very best in the world. Not just good, but the very, very best. And they have come. And in fact, looking around, there are artists among you as you walk. Not just the international ones, but some of the folks from Eugene here as well. I know are artists also. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here, looking at a wall that was done by a Dutch group. The Netherlands brought us Telmo Mule. And I have Telmo and Mule right here, so come on up, guys. You guys don't know what they did to create that mural. Because these guys, they arrived here with a completely different design. Utterly different design, yeah? And we said, you know, can you do something different? We gave them a little bit more of a background on the city and the vibe and the nature of this event. And to their credit, I am so impressed. They sat down and in 2 days, they came up with an amazing new design that I think captures the essence of the chill of Eugene. Now, it's not quite done. Are you guys going to be working on the wall later? All right, so when we come on back for the concert, you're going to get to see Telmo and Mule at work. So I'm going to ask them now to give you a little bit of a brief description of their inspiration for the piece.
Hello. Our inspiration, we've been here now for a week, and we sat down here last weekend to come up with a new design. We visited a lot of cities and states in the United States, but this was so far the most relaxed, mellow, and down-to-earth place we've been. And most of our work is based on moods and feelings. So this design was the feeling we got here. It's like really mellow and design, and yeah, guy just hanging around with his dog, taking a nap or thinking about other stuff and dreams.
All right, so as we're walking through past each wall, we're going to pause, take a look. If folks have any questions, we're going to have a roaming mic, I think. So if anybody has questions, you'll be able to ask. We'll see if we can answer them or confuse you further. But what you're going to see is a very broad range of styles. When we put together the list of artists for this project, every single artist on our list has a completely different style of approaching street art. And that's one of the things that we're going to enjoy. Now, any questions based on what you've seen so far on the wall? See, I looked at it and I had a question. Take a look at the dog over there. Do you notice anything but the face?
Why was the graffiti art painted first before you actually produced? Why was the graffiti art come
The question is, why did the graffiti art come first? How many people saw this wall before they started painting? Did you see what they did? They put squiggles all over the wall. Like literally, the entire wall was a platform of squiggles. I asked the same question myself. And they had the answer actually written up on the wall. Did anybody see the words, "This is a grid"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the grid that they used to plot out on a larger scale the image that they had already created on a smaller scale. So what they did is they took a picture of the wall after they'd created this grid of little squiggles, circles, ovally lines, weird little shapes, and then they superimposed that on the image so they knew where to draw the lines for the actual image. So
And I was wondering, well, have they just not finished the dog yet? Is that just they forgot to do that part? But apparently, there's a message there, right?
You go down there.
What's the purpose of that little spot on the dog's face that's left a little different with the orange?
Our style always is combining different layers and different shapes and forms to create one. And this dog we wanted to use maybe a more familiar dog. So there's just 2 pieces of Pluto, the Walt Disney Pluto, hidden in there. So the orange parts that looks unfinished is just small parts of Pluto.
Wow.
Hidden messages, the first of the evening.
All right, folks, so what we're going to do next is we're going to start heading in that direction. Our next stop, I believe, is going to be, we're going to head down that street, and we're going to head to the next corner, just in front of the library. So you know where the library has the bagel shop just dead in front? On that corner, that's where we're going to meet and talk about the next piece. But on the way, I want you to take a look at the mural. We'll end up back here at night with a street party. You'll be able to see these guys at work on the rest of the wall. So head along. We will see you at the corner of the library, just beside the bagel shop.
Hey.
It's so weird, but right in there.